All right, we're going to call the meeting order, April the 21st meeting. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance will be by Mr. Forster, and then we'll Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Forster, and then Mr. Hart will be the prayer. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you through your abundant grace and mercy you allowed us to come together to conduct the city's business. We thank you for blessing us to live in this beautiful part of your creation that we call Ocoee. And we pray that you help us to come together in the spirit of unity. Even though we may disagree, let us not disrespect or disengage from one another, but continue to work together as brothers and sisters. We say a special prayer for all our men and women in the armed forces who are all over the world keeping us safe. Watch over them as they watch over us, as well as our first responders. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, presentations and proclamations. Presentation of audit results for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025.
Excuse me, Mayor, we need to do roll call.
Huh?
We'd have to do roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you'd already done it. I'm getting ahead of you.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson. Here. Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Firstner.
Here.
Commissioner Oliver.
Here. Now we'll start with the presentation. Director Weber?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm going to introduce Mackinac from the firm of Purvis and Gray, who is going to go through a presentation of the results from the fiscal year 25 audit.
Here.
There we go. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm glad the mayor's excited to get to the audit presentation first thing. and kind of
Always
see everything.
excited about that.
It's also good to have a nice packed house. I think tonight all the young individuals here to listen to an audit presentation. I'm sure I'm excited about that. But all kidding aside, I'll go ahead and get started with for the sake of everybody's time. As you can see here, this shows the leadership of the audit team. Myself, Matthew Gano, I'm an audit partner with Purvis, Gray and Company. Joining me with the presentation as well is the partner in charge, Tim Westgate. Listed there also is Michael Sandstrom. He's an IT audit director that oversees the IT elements as it relates to our financial audit that we perform. This slide right here shows the GFOA Certificate of Achievement Award. The city participates in a GFOA Certificate of Achievement Award program, which goes above and beyond the minimum requirements for any city's financial reporting. This requires additional reports and disclosures to be made, all in the name of transparency, as well as requires the city to submit in a more timely manner and complete their audited financial statements. The city did receive the award from the GFOA Certificate of Achievements for the year ending September 30th, 2024. We do expect that the city's annual comprehensive report that they have completed to also receive this award for the 2025 year. So I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the reports or all the reports that we issue as part of the attestation engagements and scope of our engagement that we perform. There are several reports. The first one listed there references the independent auditor's report, which can be found on page 1 of the annual comprehensive financial report. In this report, it discusses management's responsibility. Management's responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the city's financial statements. It is our responsibility as auditors to perform an audit, and based on our audit procedures that we perform, issue an opinion on those financial statements and state whether we believe that they are fairly presented in all material respects. You can see in the opinion paragraph and on page 1, we have issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion, the highest level of assurance that we can provide as part of an attestation engagement, that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects based off of our audit procedures and our opinion that we have given. Second item there related to internal controls. We do issue a report on internal controls. We do not issue an opinion on the city's internal controls. However, we are required to review the city's internal controls as it relates to us performing and planning our audit. And if we do come across any significant deficiencies, material weaknesses, or other issues related to internal control that would meet those requirements, they would be mentioned in that separate report. There are no material weaknesses or internal control significant deficiencies that we have written and included in that report that rose to that level. We are also required to issue a compliance report with the city's investment policy with Florida Statute 218-415. Happy to report that the city has complied in all material respects based off of our opinion and our procedures that we performed, so that is a clean report as well. Last thing mentioned there is management letter, which is a requirement of rules of the Auditor General. In this letter, if there were any deteriorating financial conditions or financial emergencies that would need to be included with the city, those would be included in that report. Happy to report there's nothing to report related to that, nor are there any material noncompliance findings related to any contracts or grants that we would have to include in that report. So that is also a clean report. Lastly, for all the reports that we go over, the city, and actually this year, due to the city expending more than $1 million in federal awards, as well as $750,000 in state assistant grants, a special single audit was required for both federal and state awards this year. And that is more of a compliance-based audit to ensure that the funds are spent in compliance with those grants. There is also, based on our testing and the issuance of that report, there was no findings or material compliance issues that were noted related to that. So that is also a clean report related to the city's single audit. Just high level real quickly, just go over a few significant events and some financial highlights here. This slide shows for the governmental funds, the changes in fund balance and the ending fund balance. The general fund did decrease. It's had a negative change in fund balance this year, and that was primarily due to a lot of different things, but there was a $1.3 million transfer to the solid waste fund to help offset that fund's deficit that it's been carrying forward for several years. The ARPA funds there increased $520,000. That's primarily due to investment earnings that were incurred on the funds that are in the ARPA fund. And the capital projects reserve and both the other non-majors primarily is a lot of capital projects that have been incurred. That's a spend down of reserves for projects that have been approved, but due to timing, they just kind of gotten finished and completed and worked on this year that helps spend down some of that reserve funds. For proprietary and fiduciary funds, you can see at the top there for the proprietary funds shows change in net position, ending net position, as well as working capital. Working capital is a good way to look at the short-term ability to pay short-term obligations for a fund. So of course you want that to be positive. That is current assets minus current liabilities. And that helps show the ability for those individual funds to meet their current obligations. All those funds look like they're have a decent working capital to continue their operations. For the fiduciary funds there was a $13.8 million increase in net position. Most of that is actually due to your investment earnings on your fiduciary funds. So this is all your pension retirement funds, which were roughly $14 million in investment earnings for the current year. Few last items just to bring to everybody's attention. So the city did receive originally American Rescue Plan Act funding. There's still roughly, as of 9/30/2025, there was roughly $5.6 million in unspent money. Those funds are required by the federal requirements to actually be expended by the end of the calendar year, December 31st, 2026. I know the city is already currently working on spending that down, but just want to make sure, keep an eye on that to make sure that hopefully those funds can be spent by the end of the calendar year. The next item on this slide just shows a lot of the GASB upcoming accounting pronouncements. We have already started discussing with management and the finance team to see if there's any significant impacts on the city related to these upcoming accounting standards. Lastly, there was one discussion or one comment actually this year that was related to recording of land conveyances and related receivables that required an audit adjustment to be recorded. That was made this year, and management is already, based on their response in the management letter, is already taking proactive action to start updating their process to ensure that those items are caught going forward related to those type of agreements. So I'd be happy to answer if any questions or anything, if anybody has any questions.
All right, staff, commissioners.
Good evening. I'm going to kind of ask Director Weber also first. So this is an audit through September 30th.
Correct.
The issues that we discussed at the last meeting regarding the AR for the water fund were not discovered by 9/30, but the AR was there.
Correct.
And he talked about the fund and testing the AR. But I'm curious about the level of, I know you wouldn't test the level of internal control like you did for the federal program, I just read the note. Could the internal control be overrode to avoid compliance? But clearly, we had an internal control that was overrode and created a write-off in this year. So my question for both of you, did you talked about, you consulted on standard changes and things. Have you all discussed that as like a subsequent event? And what are the recommendations from the firm to the city on that? The amount of the write-off, the amount of the arrears? Is that something that you've seen with other cities that went through COVID and changed those rules? I'd like to know more. It's convenient you're here right after that.
Sure. So I'll answer part of it. So each year in our utilities funds, we do record a bad debt expense for those that, to anticipate that we aren't going to be able to collect on them. So that was recorded in the general ledger side of our accounting system. The official write-off of the accounts would be in the utility billing system side. So as far as the accounting records that they would look at and recording the bad debt, that was recorded in the financial statements.
Okay. So they're just stating that the actual amount of the arrears and the bad debt is correct.
Correct.
I just want to make that clear.
Sure.
I'd like to know what you discussed as far as internal control and subsequent events or anything
Sure,
like that with management.
Yeah, and just so to mention, just some of these items that we discussed in these reports, those have to rise to a specific level to be mentioned in those various reports. We have a lot of discussion items periodically with management during our exit meeting that don't rise to the levels of written comments. And the utilities estimated allowance has been an item that we've discussed when we first came on board, actually, a few years back, as well as we did actually inquire about these specific balances that were out there that were longstanding. That's one of our test procedures that we do perform when we're looking at AR is how far back they are still dated. And typically, a lot of times, once it's over 180 days or something, it should be getting closer to 100%. So those type of items we've discussed in the past, and I know they've kind of updated their allowance amounts as well to kind of account for that. But as long as that amount that they're currently recording is materially stated, and that's usually what would be in our report. So we have discussed that. As it relates to internal controls, we do a risk assessment. So those are the areas that we would usually drill down and look at more of the internal controls, because those are the areas that there's more likely to possibly be a material misstatement occurring or an actual misstatement. So that's done ahead of time, then we'll dive into those areas. But while we are also performing the audit, whenever we come across a specific area like we did with this land conveyance, additional controls and reviews will be done at that point to see if anything, if there's any potential material misstatements that could have occurred or actually did occur, and that would actually, depending on that, would rise to the level of being included in the reports.
Well, I'm not speaking as an authority on the fact, but my understanding from the last meeting was that we wrote off $500,000, and that was partly because that AR was so old that it was beyond the statute of limitations, which I believe was 5 years.
Correct.
So to your point about testing the age of the receivables, I would question that. Because it should have come up, you've done the audit is this the third year that you all have done the
Fourth year,
audit?
yeah, third, fourth.
So I'm trying to figure out how we have a write-off of $500,000 that goes back 5 years.
Yeah.
And we just found out that we have an internal control problem in the water billing department, and we have another, to your point about materiality, we have another $2 million, I understand, in at-risk AR. So could you comment on those? And it may be that those are gonna come up in this year's audit.
Yeah.
I don't know, but.
So
Thank
for the write-off element of those significant elements, in the financial statements, they're presented net. So as long as you can essentially account for that portion in your allowance, there's not necessarily an audit adjustment to present the financial statements. Materially needs to be made. One of the procedures that we do perform when we're looking at AR, we come up with what we think is the predictive testing on that and compare that to management's analysis. If management feels that that is more likely that they will collect these and be able to go back, usually a lot of times we'll kind of go with that as long as we can, it's not a material difference between what our predictive analysis is until it grows above that threshold. Then we'll recommend an audit adjustment being made and then kind of force that we think for these to properly be presented in all material specs, you have to make the entry. But when we're talking about estimates and materialities, there's a lot of discussion that has to be had and look in the methodology that management's presenting to us.
And one more, if you don't mind. So that was my question, which I kind of skipped over. Are you in your predictions of what you're seeing when you go into Florida cities since COVID, are you seeing 5-year-old AR because of the policies that came out? Or was that a red flag in the analysis? Was that in the analysis, or was
Yeah.
that accommodated as normal for a city?
The initial years subsequent, we saw not only in water utilities, a lot of electric utilities as well. They kind of didn't want to have forced the collection. So there's a little bit of a gap period in there to kind of, okay, how long are we going to let this go on before we finally take action in those manners? And we are required to look at the estimates that management is using to ensure that they're not materially misstated and seem reasonable based off of our professional judgment. We do include, there is a separate letter that we also provide, communication with those charged with governance that is provided y'all. And that specifically outlines the estimates that are utilized by management. And I'm going to get ahead of myself without actually double checking, but typically that is included in that letter because that is a significant estimate that management has to utilize that we have to ensure that are neutral and fair, of course, but that's usually included in there because it is subject to management's estimation.
Got it. Thank you very much. That's it.
Anybody else?
I just have a question. I guess this question's probably for Craig. With the ARPA funds, are we pretty well set for December? Because we don't want to return.
Yes,
Okay,
we are set.
Yep.
okay, just so don't want to give anything back.
Anybody else?
No.
Yeah. I have a couple of questions. So you're talking about internal controls. Are you auditing our internal controls? I heard you mention in your presentation, you mentioned you kind of went past it pretty quickly. You said I'm not sure if you said we are or we aren't. Are we auditing internal controls?
We are, as part of as a financial audit, there is no scope of that we're auditing the internal controls. The element that we do related to internal controls that's required for a financial audit is we have to review and assess and consider the city's internal controls during our risk assessment of a planning. Because like I said earlier, when we were talking about what that risk assessment, if there's areas that we don't think the internal controls are likely to be misstatements, those areas we would do additional substantive procedures on. And basically expand our testing in those areas, but we don't issue an opinion on the internal controls. So that element of actually testing would be outside the scope of a normal financial audit.
Okay, so the answer is pretty much, no, you're not.
No, it's not part of a financial audit.
So when you look at the compliance of numbers in any audit, and you look at the internal controls, the policies, the procedures, the practices that you're operating under should comply with the actual financials that you project.
Mm-hmm.
So my question then is, if we're not monitoring or auditing the controls, how do we know we're in compliance with how we're operating? It's just
Yeah.
a.
Well, so from the financial audit specifically itself, that really doesn't say, that part doesn't actually issue an opinion on compliance with anything necessarily. That would be based, if there are prudential control issues, we do substantive testing and specific vouching, reviewing reconciliations to ensure the financial statements that are presented are materially stated correctly. We do issue, there is a yellow book essentially report that talks about the internal control element, but again, that report, if you read it, it discusses that we don't audit and, issue an opinion on internal controls. We just have to consider them as part of it. And we do review them, and we do some controls walkthroughs and some testing related to controls, but that's really just to figure out what areas do we need to dig deeper into. But there's not the only internal control related report they have there necessarily is the single audit report that's testing the compliance elements of those expenditures, but there is an internal control that we have to review those internal controls related to grant reporting and compliance to ensure that you have something properly in place to ensure that those are being properly utilized.
Which leads me to my last question. How often should we have a audit that takes our internal controls, our controls, and the actual financial audit, and actually literally just see how are we complying with those internal controls and our financials every 5 years, every 10 years? How often? I mean, looking at a holistic
Yeah.
approach to an audit, how often would you recommend that we do something like that?
I think, there's a lot of different facets related to that. I think from an internal level, I think regularly, management actually should be reviewing the internal controls and updating them, addressing them, and improving them constantly. From an external level, if you're discussing having another type of operational audit or something, or an AUP or something, additional scope outside of a financial audit to dive in and look at internal controls, that would be another type of engagement and scope. And that just varies from entities to entities. Entities that don't regularly have internal controls issues, those are probably going to be a lot rarer. When something comes up, that's usually, if there's concerns in areas like that, that's the kind of thing that you could do potentially to help address some of those concerns. And then if nothing comes up, you can go even a longer period, whereas if it has a lot of recommendations, you may want to put it on a rotation schedule. But that's not something that's uniform across all entities that we audit throughout the state. That varies a lot.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could address a couple of things Commissioner Oliver brought up. We have internally, under my purview, conducted 2 independent audits in the last year and a half. One was of the fleet services that we provide. We contracted with an independent company separate from Purvis Gray to come in and evaluate the internal controls and the financials, because, there's auto parts coming in and out constantly. And so it's a common place for things to get out of whack. And I'm delighted to say that came back squeaky clean and looking good. On the other hand, I also, as you all heard last meeting, I conducted an independent audit, hired a third party to look into water billing and internal controls, and we found a lot there that we have already taken steps to address, including the commission action that was taken last week. And there, one other one that is kind of in the midst of an ongoing audit that Mr. Weber and Ms. Lewitzki are part of is with the golf course, because we took over a business unit last May, and so they have a regular scheduled meeting to review the financials with the operator and to verify, all accounts payable and receivable related to the golf course. But I'm glad you brought that up. That's something that, is separate from the financial audit that we get from Purvis Gray, that we have to look at any of those types of business-related operations. And those are 3 of the bigger ones that we've looked at. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Drop Savers 2026 Award Presentation. Utilities Director Bolden. And her helper. And you, lady. Mackenzie.
Yes.
Commissioners, Mayor, we're pretty excited today to present the 2026 Drop Savers winners. I will tell you that it was a really stellar year this year in terms of our entries. Mackenzie's going to go into it a little bit more. This is Water Conservation Month, and we do try to tie this in with our Water Conservation Month. Water touches everything that we do in our everyday life, and so it's important that we continue to get this message out. And the partnership that we have with this group of children, the ones that you have here, and also the ones that are not being recognized tonight, is really the highlight of my month, honestly. It's pretty exciting.
Hello, welcome, good evening, everybody. On behalf of the City of Ocoee Utilities Department, I am honored to congratulate the outstanding students who won the Drop Savers Water Conservation Poster Contest. We actually had over 120 submissions, so our whole Utilities Department got together and helped us vote on tonight's winners. And yeah, just all of the students' creativity really, really impressed us. And tonight during this commission meetings, we are very proud to recognize the students, the teachers, and the schools that continue to inspire our community. Your artwork supports our POWER program, which means Protect Ocoee's Water Resources, which reminds us the importance of conserving Florida's water resources. And then the artwork created by our community and our students teaches us that even small actions can make a big difference. And we're going to announce some of those winners, as well as some of the prizes that they get. Our first place winners got a really cool water bottle with their poster design on it, a magnet with their poster design on it, and a jigsaw puzzle with their poster design on it. And our second place winners also get their reusable water bottle and a magnet that is also customized. And our third place overall winners got a reusable water bottle with their poster design on it as well. And I've also thrown in a whole bunch of really fun goodies because I just couldn't help myself. There's so many fun, cool little prizes online. But to announce our winners, for our first division, kindergarten and first grade students, third place, I have Owen McDonald. Feel free to come on up. Yes. Yay. And then Owen. Yeah. And Owen, here's your little award as well.
We'll take pictures
course.
after you get through, bring them all up.
Yes, we'll definitely have to take some photos.
Okay.
And for second place, we have Raya. Feel free to come on up. We loved your photo. She's in our second place winner. Alrighty, and for first place, I have Lacey from Thornbrook Elementary School. Yay, feel free to come on up. Oh. And then, yep, she's right over here. Yes. Alrighty. And moving on to our Division II winners, our second and third grade students. Alrighty, we have Zoe Foster. I'm not too sure if she's here tonight. Ooh, yay, Zoe Foster. Everybody give her a little applause in case she sees us online. Yeah. Alrighty, and for our second place, it is Aaliyah Kumar. Yay, Aaliyah! Alrighty, and I know that I saw our first place winner. I have Joanna. Yay, yes, come on down, there she is. From Thornbrook Elementary. And here is your award. Yes, thank you. Alrighty, and for our Division III winners, our fourth and fifth grade students, in third place we have Kinsey. Yes, yay, welcome. My name is Mackenzie, so I got really excited whenever I saw your name. And for second place, Kennedy Buck. Is that you, Kennedy? Oh, yay! Welcome, welcome. Alrighty, and then for our first place winner, we have Kinley. Is she here? Oh yes, welcome! This is so exciting. Beautiful. Oh, and Kinley, here's your award. Everybody want to grab a picture? Yes, and now, if you guys don't mind, we can all take some photos together. And thank you again to our students and our teachers and our parents and our community for this incredible, incredible thing.
Let's go down front.
Okay.
Actually, we'll move everybody down a little bit. Just a hair down. To the left. Your left, yes.
You didn't answer.
I'm entering next year.
We should.
I'm gonna make up a name.
And then if all of the parents and teachers would like to meet outside, we can take even more photos. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, thank you guys.
That answers our question.
Yeah.
You don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting?
That's a good reason. No torches and pitchforks.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. That was really cool. Awesome.
You know, you're in trouble when the old audience has the same color
Sure.
t-shirt.
All righty, then we have, the water program, lakes and stuff, we got Mr. Boyer, Dr. Boyer coming up now.
Of course.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. My name's Dr. Jim Moyer. I'm the elected Orange Soil and Water Conservation District 2 Supervisor. And my comments, as always, are that on my own and no one else's. Infant at birth is approximately 75% or more water. Ideal soil content is 25% water. However, in Florida, we have such a diverse soil that can be 10% or even 40%. And so right now, in some places, it's less than 10% with the drought. Plants generally are 90%, 80 to 90% water. The crops here, some of them are as much as 96%, other ones 90%, and most all crops are 80% or more. The animals and fish here in Florida are 60 to 70% water. Adult ladies are 60% water approximately, and adult men 70%. If you love life, don't forget, life is water, and water is life. So please conserve it, please prevent from pollution. There's many, many little things we all can do every day. And if the 8 billion people on this earth do just a little bit every day, we can make this a better world. We have one planet, let's protect it. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Moyer. Craig, I jumped ahead of you. I'll let you come on now.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, sir. I have a few things. I'll try to get through them quickly. Next meeting, I'll be providing you with an update on AED installation in the city, as well as the fire station project. Happy to announce, great job by Parks and Rec with getting the new playground installed at Freedom Park on time and on budget. Utility Department had an informational meeting for residents on the North Lakewood area last Thursday regarding the gravity sewer project, and it's designed in 2 phases, with phase 1 receiving $1.4 million from a federal community appropriation grant. The project will start at the beginning of summer and take up to 2 years to complete. Information on lane closures will be provided throughout the project. Both OCPS and Innovation Montessori have been provided with information on the project. The Utility Department will also be holding a community meeting on Monday, May 4th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Lakeshore Center to provide information on payment programs offered to the property owners impacted by the downtown septic to sewer program that you all have authorized. And lastly, some of you have already noticed, but we have an online public survey on the city's webpage being distributed to our residents regarding public services and ranking ranking the importance of public services. As everyone's aware, we're awaiting any decision by the legislature in the next month or so on what they intend to do with regard to property taxes. This survey has been designed to give us insight, for future policy discussion, for financial planning, and potential advocacy efforts relating to what happens in Tallahassee. The survey is going to be shared on social media. It's going to be provided with a pop-up box on the Ocoee website. A flyer has been printed, and we can make available copies for you. We will have those flyers posted with the QR code. It's very quick and easy. In just a couple of days, we already have almost 200 respondents. We really need to get to 600 to have a statistically valid sample size. We will continue to provide updates to the City Commission on this important data that we're trying to collect from citizens as we move through, these next few months, which, as you all are aware, will be very important from a financial planning standpoint for the city. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, City Manager. All right. Consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made on the consent agenda by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, move down to number 6, first reading of ordinance. This will be brought back on May 5th for the second reading. The first reading is ordinance prohibiting urination and defecation in public places. Police Chief, go ahead. Lawyer.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, adopting a new Chapter 60 of the Ocoee Code of Ordinances titled Miscellaneous Offenses, prohibiting public urination and defecation, providing definitions, providing penalties, providing for codification, conflicts, and an effective date.
Like I said, that'll be back on, I think it's May the 5th
Right.
for the second reading, and then the public hearing. All right, going to item number 7. Second reading of ordinances for 1460 North Lakewood PUD annexation, rezoning from Orange County A1 Citrus Rural District to Planned Unit Development, PUD and PUD Land Use Plan, LUP. Concurrency and Commitment Coordinator McFarland.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Staff is bringing before you tonight whether the Honorable Mayor and City Commission should approve an annexation, rezoning to PUD, and an associated PUD land use plan for 1460 North Lakewood Avenue and 1446 North Lakewood Avenue. So a bit of background on this item. It is located in District Commission 3. It's approximately 6.46 acres in size. It's currently in the county, Zone County A1, and has a mix of residential and agricultural uses currently. And the proposed annexation and rezoning is to a residential planned unit development. There you can see the location map. It's adjacent to North Lakewood Avenue. And here's some aerial photography showing the 2 subject parcels, as well as the surrounding future land use map and the surrounding zoning map. As you can see, there's quite a few properties that are still within the county in this area. So this is the proposed land use plan. It includes 30 lots of attached single-family homes. The density is about 4.7 units per acre with a 34% open space, which meets our requirements under the comprehensive plan. There's approximately a 1.2 acre retention pond. There are 44 guest parking spaces shown and various amenities such as a walking trail around the pond, a dog park, as well as a play area with various amenities. As a part of the annexation and rezoning, the applicant is dedicating 10 feet of right-of-way along North Lakewood Avenue for future right-of-way expansions along that road. And with the submittal of the preliminary subdivision plan, when that comes back for your review, an intersection and safety analysis will be required at that time, and I'll get into the reasoning for that in just a moment. So when staff looks at an annexation and rezoning, we look at a variety of different things. The first being consistency with Chapter 163 of the Florida statutes, which governs land development in Florida, as well as consistency with our joint planning area agreement that we have with Orange County. Regarding both of these, the annexation and rezoning met the requirements of both. Regarding schools, because this property currently has a future land use under the joint planning area agreement of low-density residential, and they're not changing that designation, we required no capacity determination with Orange County Public Schools. When they do come back for a preliminary subdivision plan, we would require a capacity determination at that time. Regarding utilities, we look at water, sewer, and reclaimed water availability, and there is capacity available for this subdivision, as well as stormwater requirements, and that's mainly looking at the retention area that the subdivision would be proposing when they get to that stage, as well as public safety, which includes fire and police, and whether they are within our service areas, and this proposed annexation and rezoning is within our service area. And finally, we look at transportation and access. So we want to make sure that there's enough circulation for the amount of trips that this development would be creating. So we looked at that, and it's a trip generation of approximately 199 daily trips. North Lakewood Avenue has a context classification under our new comprehensive plan as a suburban residential roadway. And the comp plan designates the future number of lanes by 2045 for North Lakewood as 3 lanes. So with all that in mind, staff looks at how this is going to affect the city's transportation network. And staff found that there was sufficient capacity along North Lakewood Avenue when we look at our anticipated needs and development over time. And we found no issue with that. We did want to look further, and that's why we're requiring at a preliminary subdivision plan submittal to look at an intersection and safety analysis, specifically the intersection of Worst Road and North Lakewood Avenue. So at that time, we're going to be looking at that intersection more in depth. The Development Review Committee considered this item at its March 3rd, 2026 meeting, and identifying no issues, made a recommendation of approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission considered this item at its March 10th meeting, and after the staff presentation and public comment, recommended approval in a 4-0 vote. So with that in mind, staff recommends that the Honorable Mayor and City Commission approve the annexation, rezoning to PUD and PUD land use plan for 1460 North Lakewood Avenue and 1446 North Lakewood Avenue. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and I believe the applicant is here as well.
We're going, before we have the open the public hearing, we're going to have the reading of the ordinances.
The first is the annexation ordinance, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real properties containing approximately 5.44 and 1.02 acres located at 1460 and 1446 North Lakewood Avenue, west of North Lakewood Avenue, and approximately 0.2 miles north of the intersection of Worst Road and North Lakewood Avenue, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexations to be consistent with the Envision 2045 Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. The second ordinance is for rezoning. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1 Citrus Rural District to City of Ocoee Residential PUD Plan Unit Development on certain real properties containing approximately 5.44 and 1.02 acres located at 1460 and 1446 North Lakewood Avenue, west of North Lakewood Avenue, and approximately 0.2 miles north of the intersection of Worst Road and North Lakewood Avenue, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Envision 2045 Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
You did both of them?
Yes.
All right, we're going to open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments or want to make any comments to 1460 North Lakewood PUD? Okey-doke, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back up to the dais. We need a Discussions or a motion?
And I'd ask for separate motions on the annexation and
Well,
zoning.
I said that a while ago.
Thank you.
I'll make,
First is the annexation, so.
I'll make the motion to approve the annexation ordinance.
I'll
All right,
second.
do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Forrester, seconded by Commissioner Oliver for the annexation ordinance. Any more comments on it? All right, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously for the annexation. All right, now we need, any discussion on the, where am I at here?
Zoning.
Zoning. If not, I need a motion.
I do.
Huh?
I have questions.
Okay.
Good analysis, I like that, that's improved. As you know, the redistricting split Lakewood, and the west side is District 3 now, and the east side is District 1. I've had a lot of residents reach out to me, and you know, some of them were at the P&Z. I'm surprised they're not here, that are against this because of the traffic issues. I'm wondering if you could clarify some of the points you made. The first one is, can you explain what 3 lanes of Lakewood will look like and what that would do for traffic? Because it's not obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. So the comprehensive plan that the city recently adopted envisions 3 lanes for North Lakewood Avenue. This would allow for relief for vehicles that are making left-hand turns across traffic or vice versa. So that would provide some relief as development occurs and continues to occur in that part of the city. And then over time, as we look at projects that are coming in, we'll also look to potential turn lanes for larger projects. So staff is constantly looking at that as projects come in and what will help mitigate potential traffic concerns there.
Will that help with the people that we're talking about? They can't get out of their yard onto Lakewood during peak traffic times? Is that correlated with that or not really?
Traffic might be mitigated with that as the city puts in improvements and as projects come in. And Nick Lepp may have more direction on that as well.
Good evening, Nick Lepp, Development Services Director. Yes, so the center turn lane will start taking a lot of those cars out of the actual travel lane, especially northbound with the school. Now they'll actually have a place to store as they're getting out of the travel lanes for the traffic to travel north-south more freely.
And that was the complaint, that the traffic from the school backs up.
Correct.
And then people can't get out. Now, my second part of that question is, you mentioned 2045. Is that when that's anticipated? Are the people gonna have to deal with this for 20 years?
Hopefully not. We're acquiring the right-of-way, like with this development, as it's dedicating the 10 feet, as this goes on and as more development comes in, and the right-of-way that we acquire. Hopefully, we can get that in sooner than 2045, as it is one of our improvements that we're looking forward to. But there's still a lot of Orange County right-of-way there that we're looking for, that we would have to go out and purchase.
Okay,
That's,
what you were.
Mayor, I was just going to interject there. That is a classic example of a project that we should be working with the county on. We know we need better north-south corridors, and that is parallel to Ocoee Popka Road. Absolutely, the project needs to happen.
I will say that most of those houses are on the east side are county houses.
Oh, okay. And then
Every one
the
of them.
last part, I'm sorry.
Most every one of them's ones I got their comments and I sent back, telling them we were working on it, but they were, every one of those houses on the east side of that road is county.
Yeah, I had a lot of those. People would say, well, I don't vote in Ocoee. I'm not annexed in Ocoee, but I live in Ocoee, which is their perception. And I appreciate that. And can you also elaborate on, you mentioned intersection improvements at Worst and Lakewood. What would that look like and when would that occur?
So with the subdivision plan, as it comes in, they will do a traffic study looking at the turning movement counts at that intersection and determine if a left turn lane may be needed to help facilitate the safety and operations. And at that point, we can look for some sort of mitigation towards that.
Thank you very much.
Can I?
Yes, sir.
Would it be any time in the future to have a red light at Worst Road?
If the traffic counts start meeting those warrants of the number of turns and the delays and
Well,
safety.
That's where it really is a busy intersection, coming down Worst Road, everybody coming out, going in, and going on up Lakewood.
Yeah.
Yes, so those counts will help us determine if it's close and when we may start needing a signal at that intersection.
Okay. All righty, anybody else have any comments?
I think that when, and that's a great point about that traffic light at Worth Road. We have budget workshops coming up. We can always start looking at future budget workshops to start set aside the funding to at least do the studies and see where we go from the warrant studies and what the cost of a warrant study is going to be, and just at least start the process through set aside the budget, set aside the funding in the budget.
Because I know you, I'll make a comment that you mentioned the lack of north through lanes. I know Commissioner Oliver does the same thing I do. We gave up on Ocoee Proctor Road to come to City Hall. We come down Lakewood. We go all the way around our neighborhood, back McCormick, and go around and come down Lakewood rather than take the direct route because Ocoee Proctor is such a mess. So I think a lot of people, especially once the shopping center, the store, supermarket and all that gets there, I think a lot more people are going to be using Lakewood to come south.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we're finding that with the development. And as for the warrant, we do have a traffic engineer, considering consultant. So as these do come up, we can start using them to do these warrant analysis.
Perfect.
All right, I need a.
I have one last
All right.
comment. For the city manager, I believe you had a list of projects as far as dealing with purchases of right-of-ways as well as traffic calming devices that goes to the county. Is that list up to date, or how often have you been giving that list over to the county for funding those projects?
Well, we just transmitted a couple months ago to the county when they were considering doing an infrastructure sales tax initiative. We gave them an updated project list totaling around $239 million. And it included small projects, but big projects as well that benefit not only, circulation through the city, but the regional network as well. So they have the most recent list that we have. I will go ahead and take this opportunity to let the commission know that they've reached out to us regarding the intersection at McCormick and Popka Vineland Road. I'll be getting with you individually on that to discuss it. The city annexed in a property a few years back under the project name CLRM, which is now Wynwood subdivision. And we received funds from the developer to go towards a signalized intersection there. County has designed a roundabout and has requested that we cost share with them and recommended that we reach out to the developer as well. So we have thoughts on that. We'll be getting with you one-on-one before anything comes before you about that.
Yeah, I brought that issue up to the county commissioner, who's just got out of that seat, but I asked her to find out why that process wasn't finished up. So they're supposed to be getting an answer. Craig's working on it. All right, we need a motion?
Did we get a motion
I
already?
don't
Not
know
yet.
who did it.
Major.
Not yet.
Oh, we have a motion yet?
No motion on the zoning.
Based on the staff's recommendation, I make a motion to approve the rezoning ordinance.
Motion made by Commissioner First. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All righty.
Who's got another one?
Let's go down to number 8, second reading of ordinance for the annual comprehensive plan text amendment to adopt 5-year schedule of capital improvements and update the capital improvement element, project number CPA 2026-01, concurrence and commitment coordinator McFarland. You still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, so this item is whether the mayor and city commission should approve the ordinance to amend our capital improvement element and update it with the 5-year schedule of capital improvements that was adopted in tandem with our budget, and to incorporate this into the city's existing comprehensive plan. So just some brief background on this. Each local government, as you know, is required to have a comprehensive plan, and it must contain a capital improvements element. Each CIE has to contain a schedule of capital improvements covering at least a 5-year period, as well as publicly and privately funded projects necessary to ensure that our adopted level of service is being met. This is not an amendment to the comprehensive plan, and it can be adopted by ordinance. It's not an amendment in the traditional sense as you've looked at other amendments such as the comprehensive plan amendment regarding the Dynasty Sports Complex. And this is the proposed 5-year CIP looks at capacity projects that are taken directly from the adopted budget. So in this case, it's the adopted budget from fiscal year 25 to 26. And this was previously approved by the City Commission back in September, and it does not contain any projects or improvements that were not previously approved by the City Commission. So a new table will be established in the CIE goals, objectives, and policies within the comp plan. And that table will look like this, going through our capital improvements 5-year plan. As you can see, covering everything. So the Planning and Zoning Commission considered this item at its March 10th meeting, and after staff presentation and no public comment, recommended approval in a 4-0 vote. And with that in mind, staff recommends that the Honorable Mayor and City Commission approve the ordinance to amend the capital improvements element and update the 5-year schedule of capital improvements within the city's comp plan in accordance with section 163.31773 Florida statutes and policy 1.3 of the capital improvements element.
All right, we're going to have the city lawyer read off the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan as adopted in 2025 as amended in order to comply with Section 163.3177 subparagraph 3 Florida statutes, amending the capital improvement element of the comprehensive plan, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
All right, now we'll open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments pertaining to the annual comprehensive plan text amendment to adopt the 5-year schedule capital improvements? All right, I'll close it, bring it up to the dais. Anybody have any comments, commissioners? If not, I'll need a motion.
Make that motion?
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Move down to 9. Second reading of ordinance amending the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund. Pension Board Attorney Herrera. That's not Herrera.
Good evening. My name is Brian Pace. I'm the chairman of the Police and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund, and this is our pension board attorney, Pedro Herrera.
Good evening, council. If you guys have seen the backup materials, it's the second reading for a proposal to effectively restate the pension ordinance, clarifying terms, removing some obsolete language, adding some additional language that had been recently incorporated and required by the Internal Revenue Code. We issued indicated a memorandum and just essentially clarifying what the changes were, and certainly happy to address any questions or comments that you may have. You did also receive an actual impact statement reflecting that there was no impact to the plan sponsor, to the city ultimately, but happy to address any comments or questions.
All right, commissioners, any comments?
It's not changing any of the assumptions at all, is it?
No, sir. This has nothing to do with any of the actuarial assumptions that go towards the funding of the plan. Those remain as they were. This is really simply just changing the language that's found in the city ordinance to update, remove some obsolete language, clarify, move some things around, make it a little bit easier to read and digest.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right,
I have one.
all right.
It says the pension board trustees recommend, but it doesn't say, normally those things say like met on March 10th and voted to approve recommendation. So can you just illustrate who those trustees are and what that recommendation looks like?
Sure. So I apologize. I don't recall the precise date that the board met. I know it was actually over the course of several meetings that the board met and discussed this. It was, I think, probably initially upon our recommendation, frankly, but I think, and really in consultation with the board actuary, just to really clarify and update some of the language that had been in the ordinance for quite some time and either was no longer needed, was redundant, was at times a bit confusing. And so the process, I think to your question, really was discussed by the board. We went through several iterations of the actual draft language. It was forwarded to the city attorney's office. It was forwarded to outside counsel for the city as well. The board reconvened with those comments. I believe we took the majority, if not all of the comments, and accepted those and maybe just, obviously in consultation with the city's attorney, just maybe wordsmith, but again, nothing substantively was changed. And then also during the course of those several meetings, the plan actuary was also obviously involved in the discussions, provided copies of the draft ordinance amendments, because ultimately, obviously, we knew pursuant to state law and the city's requirements that an impact statement would be required. So if that was really the process that the board followed. The board did take action at the meetings to go ahead and formally recommend those, and I can get you the dates of those meetings. I just don't have those off the top of my head.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right, you've read it. All right, we make the motion yet?
I did not read it yet. Hold on a second.
You didn't read it?
I did not read it yet. Sorry.
Go ahead.
All right. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida relating to the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund, amending ordinance number 2010-019, as subsequently amended, providing for the restatement of the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund, providing for severability of provisions prevailing in the event of any inconsistency and providing an effective date.
All right, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody have any comments on we're doing on number 9 or
That was number 9.
Number 9. Any more comments? If not, I'm going to close it, bring it back up. We need a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Oliver. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Forster. No more comments? Let's vote. We're on number 10 now. All right, number 10, second reading of ordinance amending the City of Ocoee General Retirement Trust Fund. Pension Board, Herrera. And Ms. G.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Can you hear me? On November the 6th, 2024, the General Employees Pension, did I say Jaquita Cowan? I'm sorry. I didn't say that. I'm sorry. The Pension Board approved to restate the ordinance, and when we did that, we did it in 24, so we took like a year going back and forth, making sure that we cleaned up the language, as Pedro said, and eliminated anything that wasn't needed. It was reviewed by outside counsel per city request this year, and the impact statement, there was no impact to the fund. And Pedro is here to answer any questions that you may have.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody this time on questions?
You got it.
All right.
That was good.
My comments from the last ordinance reading pretty much fall into place with this one as well. And Pedro Herrera, formally for the record, I apologize.
All right, you gonna read it?
Yes, sir. An amendment of the City of Ocoee, Florida relating to the City of Ocoee Municipal General Employees Retirement Trust Fund, amending ordinance number 2009-019, 20 as subsequently amended, providing for the restatement of the City of Ocoee Municipal General Employees Retirement Trust Fund, providing for severability of provisions prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing an effective date.
All right, we're going to open the public. Anybody in the public have any comments on item 10? Second reading of ordinance amending the City of Ocoee General Retirement Trust Fund. All right, no comments. We'll move back to the dais. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by by Commissioner Kennedy on number 10. I hear a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. No more comments? Let's vote.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, we're going to move to number 11, public hearing, approval for resolution for the abandonment and vacation of the right-of-way for North Cumberland Avenue.
I think it's funny.
Cumberland, let's see, for North Cumberland Avenue vacate project. Concurrency and commitment coordinator, McFarland's up again. Okay.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, so this is a resolution on abandoning and vacating a portion of public right-of-way lying within North Cumberland Avenue for your consideration. So just some brief background on this. It's located in District 2. It's approximately 18,405 square feet of public right-of-way. And the request is a staff-initiated request due to the construction of Unity Park and the desire to combine various parcels that make up Unity Park into one distinct parcel. As you can see, when the park was constructed, there were various parcels of existing land that were used to build the park upon. And this is an effort that staff is trying to do to help clean up those parcels and combine them into one. And as you can see here, this is the location map.
Pretty much the bridge, right?
Goes right to the middle of Unity Park.
Right smack dab through the middle. Yep, yes, sir. Yep, one thing I do want to state is that on the south side of the vacated right-of-way, there is a residence there right at the entrance to Unity Park. Staff ensured that they have access to the public right-of-way, that their property remains and is not isolated, so that was something we took in mind and ensured that they still have sufficient access. When the right-of-way is vacated, it'll be absorbed by the parcels to the north, or to the east and west, which is city-owned property. So,
right.
All that being said, staff recommends approval of this resolution abandoning and vacating a portion of the public right-of-way of North Cumberland Avenue. Be happy to answer any questions.
All right, let's read the ordinance.
A resolution of the City of Ocoee, Florida.
A
resolution of the City of Ocoee, Florida, abandoning and vacating a portion of the 60-foot wide right-of-way of Cumberland Avenue lying south of Franklin Street and lying 65 feet north of the southwest corner of Lot 5, Block 2, as depicted on the plat of the map of Ocoee, recorded in Plat Book A, page 100 of the Public Records of Orange County, providing for recordation, providing for severability, and an effective date.
All right. Anybody in the public, open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments on the approval of a resolution for the abandonment and vacation of the right-of-way for North Cumberland Avenue? All right, close it, bring it back to the dais. Anybody got any comments?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Commissioner Wilson made a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, regular agenda none. Mayor's announcements. Okey dokey. Before I read these announcements, there's nothing on here for July the 4th, the 250-year thing. Are we doing anything or not?
I'll have to report back to you on that.
We don't have a lot of time. I know we did fireworks last
For
year.
the 4th of July, our Parks and Leisure is looking to make that a part of the 250 year. We do
That'll be
fireworks
on the
now,
4th
4th of July,
that'll be
yes.
the 4th of July
Yes, that'll
weekend.
be the big 250 celebration.
Would that be on the Monday or on the Saturday? You know yet? You don't know yet, do you? I haven't looked at the dates.
We will be prepared
Okay.
at
Well,
the
can you
next
bring it back
commission
to us?
meeting
Yeah.
to provide you all the information you
All
need.
right, okay. All right, thank you. All right, community survey. The city of Ocoee wants to hear from you. Share your thoughts about city services and community priorities. Your voice matters. Visit Ocoee.org to take the survey. May events. Cinco de Mayo block party will take place on Friday, May the 1st from 6 p.m. through 9 p.m. in downtown Ocoee. The event will feature DJ, food trucks, games, rides, and more. Ocoee PD Community Picnic will take place Saturday, May the 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Vignetti Park. Admission is free. The picnic will include food, fun, vendors, games, and prizes. HRDB Community Speaker Series covering creating supportive spaces will take place Thursday, May the 7th at 6:15 p.m. in the Commission Chambers. All are welcome. Visit ocoee.org for more information. Memorial Day ceremony happening on Tuesday, May the 21st at 11 a.m. at Ocoee Lakeshore Center. The ceremony is open to the public. Refreshments will be provided after the ceremony. Commissioner Kennedy.
No additional comments.
Commissioner Wilson.
No, just please take the survey. I took it today. It's very painless.
Commissioner Firstman.
No additional comments.
Commissioner Oliver.
Hackney Prairie is complete. The streetscaping on Hackney Prairie is complete. It looks really, really good. The only question I had was, I thought we were gonna kind of have razors on the road. That was gonna be, rise up a little bit. I've driven it a few times. Is that something that's gonna happen in the future? Because I guess the whole reason that we actually did the streetscaping on Hackney Prairie is to slow folks down. So, city manager, is there a plan to add razors to what we currently have? Or is that the final, that's the final project, what we have now? Because they have the pavers there, but they're not raised up. I thought they were gonna be raised up a little, just kind of slow folks down.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get you an answer on that. I don't know the answer tonight.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
We can circle back on that. It's my understanding that we're going back to our original organization of code enforcement board. So if that's the case, it's my understanding we also have two positions, four, so two primaries and two alternates. So I will be soliciting to folks in District 4, if you have any desire to serve the city in that capacity, please reach out to me. You can contact me here at City Hall. I'll be more than happy to direct you to filling out an application to submit it so we can get folks on that board and get them moving. Because the longer we wait, we're still racking up fines and those kind of things and not meeting quorum. So let's volunteer to help the city. And finally, I'll say this: many people you meet are hanging on a thread. Let your kindness be the thread that helps them hold on. That's all I got.
Mayor, can I ask a question about what you
Yeah.
said? On the code enforcement board, do we want to discuss each commissioner having a certain number of members? I already have 2 members. Do y'all care if I put more members? On some boards, we have everybody gets 1 or 2, or does anybody have an opinion on that? And could staff let us know who has who? Yeah.
I have one.
I have one possible. I just have to reach back out to them. If we can just allow others to put an application in and go from there.
Well, we have,
The chair and the vice chair.
well, we need to get the chair to turn in the 100 names they had. That's got to be turned into the city. He didn't turn them in.
Okay, I'll take it.
I'd like to see, maybe we can take some names out of that. They were, take time to sign up. Maybe they'll take time to go to the meetings. So we need to get that in where the city can see if we can contact some of them to have, get it to the meeting. Everybody, you through? You done?
Yeah, as long as you
All right.
don't care how many.
I mean,
if I put-
you turn them in, if everybody else turns it in, then we put somebody on there. The idea was to have them in different areas of the town.
Right.
But I mean, you pretty much cover different areas too, so. We need to see we can get them.
There was no rule on that, I don't think, I think,
Used to be.
I think P and Z was one that we wanted. Was it
Yeah.
P and Z that wanted?
Some are, some are not.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask. 'Cause
Yeah.
It is a quasi-judicial board. Right?
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right, yeah.
Do we
All
have,
right.
do we have any, do we have a deadline, a date as to when these applications need to be
Now?
submitted? I mean, yeah.
Yesterday.
Now?
Now.
Yesterday.
All right. I'm gonna ask a few questions here, City Manager. Recording studio, I was told to get that thing tore down January. I still see it sitting over there, so what's the process of that?
Well, Mr. Rimmer's going to give you more detail, but we just completed all the asbestos and hazmat-related items, and we'll be bringing back,
So
Okay.
two things. We did, as the city manager said, or the SWAT did training and poked final holes in the wall. The company that did the demolitions of our buildings on Geneva no longer had a subcontractor for the septic. So we had to go out and seek bids from 3 new demolition companies. We have those with the asbestos removal required and the new sort of estimate from these companies. We're going to bring back a budget amendment in May, just a short budget amendment to add some dollars to that account so we can go forward and demolish the building. So.
All right, second deal is the Oakland Street, power for Oakland Street.
I spoke with Duke Energy on Thursday and requested an in-person meeting to address that, as well as several other issues, including the poles that remain on,
It's
at the
underground,
intersection
supposed
at
to be.
Palm Drive and Ocoee Popka, as well as McGuire, that were supposed to be taken out that haven't. So we are going to have a face-to-face about it. We have reached out via other methods to the appropriate staff to this point, to no avail. So I spoke to their intergovernmental coordinator on Thursday, and we'll be having a meeting.
Okay, all right, thanks. I mean, that's one of our city streets that hadn't had lights on it in over a year, and probably a year and a half.
Yep.
They tore them out. The other thing is, I wanted to ask about the landscape in Lake Shore. I asked about this, I think, last year. We have that crazy-looking grass when you, in that spot where you come up to the front of Lake Shore Center. I was wanting to see if we could do pavers in there, and then on the side of the pavers, put some kind of bushes where it'll look, this not very, to me, that's not very beautiful landscaping in the front of the Lake Shore Center. It's that little patch of, looks like, what do you call that? I call it weeds, but I mean, it ain't weeds. But it's right when you come into the Lake Shore Center, right there in front, before you walk up the steps.
Yeah, it's
There's a
Spartina
patch.
grass.
I'd like to see us put
Cord
pavers
grass.
in that, plus on the side of it, do some kind of flowers to make it.
We can do that.
Huh?
It's like the hay, right?
No, it's like that, what do you?
It's
sit on
Spartina
the side of
baker eye.
roads,
Yeah, it's a
swamp
cord
Or
grass.
something like that. What is it, Craig?
It's called cord grass. It's Spartina baker
But
eye.
it's back up here, but there's nothing decorative to it at all. And I think if we put pavers in, we can let them come up through the middle and put flowers on the sides, some of the things that, you know, maybe decorate a little better.
Absolutely. We'll include that. We've reached out to CPRA about,
I might want to say no longer, but I want to bring up one other thing here, and it's the lights. If we could put some kind of, something like 2 poles down on the lake, 2 poles up in front that'll shine out onto that field when we have functions out there, where we can turn the lights on that'll show when you're having a, like, fest and different functions like the jazz festival. If you put poles up in front, in the trees, and the poles on the, and down on the lake and trees, and then shine them to the land, at least we'll have lights. We only have to use them when we have functions. But it will make it a lot simpler to have, where you can see what's going on.
we'll put that into the May budget amendment.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank everybody for coming. Thank you.